There are moments in life when you look around and wonder, God, when is something finally going to change? You have prayed, you have waited, you have tried, you have stayed hopeful, and yet somehow the situation still looks the same unanswered questions, the same uncertainty, the same closed doors, the same struggle that you thought would have ended by now. And perhaps the hardest part is not even the difficulty itself. Perhaps the hardest part is not knowing what God is doing in the middle of it. Because when you cannot see the answer, your mind starts creating its own explanations. Maybe it is never going to happen. Maybe I am behind. Maybe I missed my opportunity. Maybe things will always be this way. Maybe God has forgotten about me. But today, I want you to challenge that way of thinking. Because what you can see is not the full story. What you understand today is not the complete picture of your life. And what looks like silence may not be inactivity. Sometimes God is working in places you cannot see, in ways you cannot understand, preparing things you are not yet ready to receive. You may be standing in a season that feels empty, while something important is being built underneath the surface. You may think you are being delayed, when you are actually being prepared. You may think you are being rejected when you are actually being redirected. You may think something is being taken away from you when, in reality, you are being protected from something that would have cost you your peace. And maybe that is the message you need to hear today. Do not confuse what you cannot see with what is not happening. Your life can be changing before your circumstances change. Your heart can be healing before your situation improves. Your character can be developing before your opportunity arrives. Your future can be taking shape while your present still looks uncertain. Think about a seed planted beneath the ground. For a while, there is nothing visible. You cannot look at the soil and immediately see the roots. You cannot measure the growth with your eyes. You cannot stand there every morning and say, "Why is nothing happening?" The seed does not need to prove itself to you. It is doing what it was designed to do. And eventually, what was happening beneath the surface becomes visible above it. Your life can have seasons like that. There can be a period where everything important is happening underneath the surface. You are learning. You are becoming stronger. You are developing patience. You are becoming more disciplined. You are learning what you will and will not accept. You are discovering who you really are. You are becoming less dependent on people's approval. You are learning to walk away from what constantly drains you. You are learning to trust God, even when you do not have all the answers. And one day, you may realize that the waiting season was not wasted time. It was preparation. It was building the person who could handle the next chapter. Because sometimes we ask God for a blessing without understanding that the blessing requires a different version of us. We want the opportunity, but we have not developed the discipline to handle it. We want the relationship, but we have not learned how to communicate properly. We want success, but we still allow every small setback to destroy our confidence. We want peace, but we continue giving our attention to unnecessary drama. We want a new chapter, but we keep returning emotionally to the old one. And this is why preparation matters. Sometimes God is not just preparing the blessing. God is preparing you for the blessing. So instead of asking only, "When will it happen?" start asking, "Who am I becoming while I wait?" That question can change everything, because waiting does not have to mean standing still. Waiting can mean working. Waiting can mean learning. Waiting can mean healing. Waiting can mean growing. Waiting can mean becoming ready. You can be waiting for an opportunity and still improve yourself every single day. You can be waiting for a breakthrough and still build discipline. You can be waiting for clarity and still take the next right step. You can be waiting for the future while becoming stronger in the present. And that is where your power is. You do not control exactly when every door opens. You do not control exactly how every situation unfolds. But you can control what you do with today. You can choose to keep going. You can choose to keep learning. You can choose to keep your faith. You can choose to stop allowing temporary circumstances to define your permanent identity. because your current situation is not your final destination. The chapter you are living right now is not the entire book. Maybe this chapter is difficult. Maybe it is confusing. Maybe it is slower than you expected. But that does not mean the story ends here. There are chapters you have not reached yet. There are opportunities you have not encountered yet. There are people you have not met yet. There are lessons you have not learned yet. There are versions of yourself you have not become yet. So do not make a permanent conclusion about your life based on a temporary season. You might be closer than you think. And sometimes the reason you cannot see how close you are is because you are standing too close to the process. When you are inside the struggle, all you can see is the struggle. But later, when you look back, you may see connections that were invisible at the time. You may realize that one closed door led you toward another opportunity. You may realize that one disappointment forced you to grow. You may realize that one period of loneliness taught you how to become comfortable with yourself. You may realize that one difficult season gave you strength you could never have developed in comfort. And perhaps that is why you should stop asking only, "Why is this happening to me?" Try asking, "What is this season teaching me?" Because that question gives you something you can work with. Maybe this season is teaching you patience. Maybe it is teaching you boundaries. Maybe it is teaching you discipline. Maybe it is teaching you to stop chasing people who do not choose you. Maybe it is teaching you to stop measuring your worth through other people's opinions. Maybe it is teaching you that you can survive disappointment without becoming bitter. Maybe it is teaching you that you can trust yourself again. Maybe it is teaching you to slow down. Maybe it is teaching you that your value does not disappear simply because one opportunity did not work out. Whatever the lesson is, do not waste the season by only wishing it away. Use it, grow through it, learn from it, become stronger because of it. There is something else you need to understand. Not every closed door is a bad thing. Sometimes you spend so much time asking God to open a particular door that you forget to consider whether that door was actually good for you. You wanted it, you imagined it, you planned around it, you became emotionally attached to the outcome, and when it did not happen, you felt like your whole future had been taken away. But what if your future was never dependent on that one thing? What if losing that opportunity did not destroy your future? What if it simply changed the road? What if the door closed because there was something you could not see from your side? Sometimes you only see what you wanted. God sees what it would have cost you. You see the excitement. God sees the consequences. You see the opportunity. God sees the environment around it. You see the beginning. God sees the ending. And that is why trust is so important. Trust does not mean pretending everything is easy. Trust does not mean you never feel disappointed. Trust does not mean you understand every decision. Trust means you refuse to believe that one difficult moment has the authority to define your entire future. You can be disappointed and still have faith. You can be confused and still move forward. You can be tired and still take another step. You can cry and still believe. You can have questions and still trust God. Faith does not require you to have every answer. Sometimes faith is simply saying, "I do not understand this yet, but I will not give up on my future." That is strength. And there is another thing you need to release. You need to stop comparing your timeline to everyone else's. Because comparison can make you feel late when you are actually exactly where you need to be. You look at someone else's success and wonder why yours has not arrived. You see someone else's relationship and wonder why you are still waiting. You see someone else's career and wonder why your path feels slower. You see someone else's life and start questioning your own. But you are not living their story. You do not know what happened behind their success. You do not know what they had to overcome. You do not know what their journey required. And more importantly, their timeline was never supposed to be your timeline. You are not behind because someone else arrived earlier. A flower does not become less beautiful because another flower bloomed first. Your life does not lose its value because someone else's chapter arrived before yours. Your time will be your time. Your journey will be your journey. Your lessons will be your lessons. So stop using somebody else's progress as evidence that you are failing. Instead, ask yourself, am I growing? Am I becoming wiser? Am I becoming stronger? Am I making better decisions? Am I becoming more disciplined? Am I becoming more peaceful? Am I becoming more intentional? If the answer is yes, then you are moving, even if the movement is not visible yet. Sometimes progress is quiet. Sometimes progress looks like saying no to something you would have said yes to before. Sometimes progress looks like walking away instead of arguing. Sometimes progress looks like getting back up after disappointment. Sometimes progress looks like choosing discipline over comfort. Sometimes progress looks like believing in yourself again. Sometimes progress is simply refusing to quit. Do not underestimate those small changes. Your life is often transformed through small decisions repeated consistently. You do not wake up one morning and suddenly become an entirely different person. You become different through what you repeatedly choose. Every day you have an opportunity to choose the future version of yourself. You can choose to keep living from fear, or you can choose courage. You can choose resentment, or you can choose growth. You can choose to stay stuck in yesterday, or you can begin building tomorrow. You can choose to keep chasing what does not want to stay, or you can create space for what is actually meant for you. And sometimes the blessing you are waiting for requires you to let go of something first. This is difficult because we often want God to add without asking God to remove. We want the new relationship without releasing the old attachment. We want the new opportunity without releasing the identity that says we are not capable. We want peace without releasing the need to control everything. We want a new life without releasing the habits that keep us trapped in the old one. But you cannot carry everything into your next chapter. Some things have to stay behind. Some habits, some fears, some expectations, some relationships, some old versions of yourself, some stories you keep telling yourself. You may have spent years believing, this is just who I am. Maybe it is not. Maybe it is simply who you became while trying to survive a certain season. And now you have permission to grow beyond it. You can become someone new. You can think differently. You can make better decisions. You can build stronger habits. You can create a healthier future. Your past can explain you without controlling you. What happened yesterday can be real without becoming your permanent identity. And this is where your next chapter begins. Not when everything becomes perfect. Not when every problem disappears. Not when everyone finally understands you. It begins when you decide that you are no longer going to let your past make every decision for your future. You can move forward. You can start again. You can rebuild. You can believe again. And perhaps the most important thing you can do while waiting for your blessing is to become ready for it. Imagine you are asking for a bigger opportunity. Are you developing the skills that opportunity requires? If you want to build something meaningful, are you learning to stay consistent when motivation disappears? If you want financial growth, are you learning responsibility and discipline? If you want healthier relationships, are you learning to communicate honestly and respect boundaries? If you want confidence, are you keeping promises to yourself? Because confidence does not only come from positive thinking, it comes from evidence. Every time you tell yourself you will do something and then actually do it, you build trust with yourself. Every time you keep going when it becomes uncomfortable, you build strength. Every time you choose what is right over what is easy, you become more dependable. So while you wait for the external blessing, build the internal foundation. Do not sit around waiting for your life to begin. Start living it now. Start becoming the person you want to be now. Start making decisions your future self will thank you for. Start treating your time like it matters. Start protecting your attention. Start taking your goals seriously. Start choosing people who bring peace rather than constant confusion. Start creating habits that support the life you want, because one day the opportunity may arrive. And when it does, you want to be ready. You do not want to spend the first 6 months of your blessing learning how to handle it. You want to have already developed the mindset, discipline, wisdom, and emotional strength required to protect it. This is why preparation is powerful. The waiting season can become your training ground. You are not simply waiting for something to happen to you. You are becoming someone who can create something meaningful with what happens. And that distinction matters, because sometimes we think our breakthrough will come in the form of one dramatic moment. One phone call, one opportunity, one decision, one unexpected event. And yes, life can change suddenly. But many breakthroughs are built quietly long before they become visible. The breakthrough may begin with a decision to take yourself seriously, a decision to stop quitting, a decision to stop chasing approval, a decision to stop returning to what repeatedly hurts you, a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to start again, a decision to trust God even when you do not understand. That decision may not look dramatic from the outside, but it can change everything, because your future is influenced by the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Your life is being shaped in ordinary moments. The morning when you choose to get up and keep going. The evening when you decide to learn instead of waste your time. The moment when you receive a rejection and decide not to take it as a statement about your worth. The moment when you are tempted to return to an old pattern but choose something healthier. These moments matter. Do not wait for a huge miracle before believing that your life can change. Sometimes the miracle begins with you becoming willing to change. And that does not mean you have to become perfect. You only need to become intentional. You only need to keep moving. You only need to take the next step. You do not need to know the next 100 steps, just the next one. This is something we forget. We want the entire plan. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know exactly where the road ends before we begin walking. But sometimes you are only given enough light for the next step. And perhaps that is intentional. Because if you knew everything that was coming, you might try to control everything. Instead, you are being invited to trust. Trust the next step. Trust the lesson. Trust the process. Trust that a difficult chapter does not mean a hopeless story. And when fear tells you nothing is changing, answer it with, I cannot see everything that is happening. When disappointment says, this is the end, answer it with, this is only one chapter. When comparison says, you are behind, answer it with, my journey is my own. When your past says, you cannot change, answer it with, I am still becoming. When uncertainty says, give up, answer it with, I will take one more step. You have to become careful about the voices you allow to define your future. Not every thought deserves to be believed. Just because you feel hopeless does not mean your situation is hopeless. Just because you feel behind does not mean you are behind. Just because you cannot see the answer does not mean there is no answer. Feelings are real, but feelings are not always forecasts. You can feel afraid and still be moving towards something good. You can feel uncertain and still be on the right path. You can feel tired and still be making progress. So do not make major conclusions about your life based solely on how you feel in one difficult moment. Give yourself time. Give the process time. Give your future room to unfold. And most importantly, give yourself permission to believe that better days are possible. Not because everything is guaranteed to happen exactly as you imagined, but because your life has more possibilities than your current circumstances are showing you. There are still things you can change. There are still decisions you can make. There are still opportunities you can create. There are still lessons you can learn. And there is still growth ahead. And there is still so much of your story that has not been written. So if you are in a waiting season right now, do not waste it by constantly asking why. Use it to prepare. If you are in a season of uncertainty, do not allow uncertainty to stop you from taking action. If you are experiencing rejection, do not turn rejection into an identity. If a door closed, do not spend the rest of your life staring at it. Turn around. Look around. There may be another direction. There may be another opportunity. There may be another version of your life waiting for you to become brave enough to pursue it. And if you have been praying for something for a long time, Do not assume that silence means your prayer has no value. Sometimes the answer is not immediate. Sometimes the answer comes through a change in circumstances. Sometimes it comes through a change in you. Sometimes the answer is a redirection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is preparation. And sometimes you simply have to keep walking without knowing exactly how the story will unfold. That is where faith becomes real. Faith is easy when everything is working. Faith becomes powerful when you keep believing while the evidence around you is incomplete. When you can say, "I do not have everything I want yet, but I will still be grateful for what I have. I do not understand everything yet, but I will keep moving. I cannot see the whole future, but I will not destroy my present worrying about it. I have been disappointed before, but I will not let disappointment convince me that nothing good can happen again." That is strength. And perhaps you need to hear this today. You are allowed to start believing again. You are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to become excited about your future again. Maybe life disappointed you. Maybe someone let you down. Maybe something you worked hard for did not happen. Maybe you lost confidence. Maybe you spent too much time wondering whether your best days were behind you. But they do not have to be. You can decide that this is not where your story ends. You can decide that you will not allow one painful season to define every season that comes after it. You can decide to get back up. You can decide to try again. You can decide to trust again. And perhaps your greatest blessing will not simply be what you receive. Perhaps it will be who you become while receiving it. Because imagine reaching the next chapter with a stronger mind, a calmer heart, greater discipline, better boundaries, more self-respect, more wisdom, more faith, more patience, more courage. That person will handle life differently. That person will recognize opportunities differently. That person will respond to challenges differently. That person will no longer beg for what does not belong. That person will no longer destroy their peace trying to control everything. That person will understand that walking away from the wrong thing is sometimes how you make room for the right thing. Become that person. Not tomorrow. Start today. You do not need to transform your entire life overnight. Make one better decision today, then another tomorrow, then another the day after. Let small choices build a different future. Because your future does not suddenly appear. You build toward it. And while you build, trust God with what you cannot control. Do your part. Perk. Learn. Grow. Stay consistent. Then release the need to know exactly when everything will happen. There is freedom in that. You can stop checking the clock. You can stop measuring your worth by how quickly things happen. You can stop asking why everyone else seems to be moving faster. You can stop treating waiting like failure. You can start seeing it as preparation. And when the right moment comes, you will understand why you needed the lessons you are learning now. You will understand why certain things did not work. You will understand why certain people had to leave. You will understand why certain plans changed. You will understand why the road was longer than you expected. Maybe not every detail will make sense, but you may finally see enough to say, "No, I understand why I had to grow first." So if you are tired today, rest, but do not quit. If you are disappointed, feel it, but do not build your identity around it. If you are confused, slow down, but do not abandon your future. If you are waiting, prepare. If you are afraid, take the next step anyway. If you have fallen, get back up. And if you cannot see what God is doing behind the scenes, remember that you do not need to see the entire process to trust that your life can still change. Your blessing may not arrive in the form you expected. It may not come according to the schedule you created. It may not look exactly like the picture you imagined, but that does not mean your story is finished. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrive disguised as redirection. Sometimes they arrive through an opportunity you almost ignored. Sometimes they arrive after you finally let go. Sometimes they arrive after you stop forcing an outcome. Sometimes they arrive when you have become strong enough to recognize them. So stay open, stay faithful, stay willing to grow. Do not become so attached to one specific outcome that you miss something better because it looks different. You do not have to know exactly what is coming. You simply have to remain ready for what is next. And remember this: when the days feel slow, the absence of visible progress is not proof of permanent failure. The waiting is not necessarily wasted. The closed door is not necessarily the end. The disappointment is not necessarily your destiny. The difficult chapter is not the whole story. You are still becoming. You are still learning. You are still moving. And there is still time for your life to surprise you. So keep going, keep building, keep praying, keep becoming, keep choosing the next right step. Let God handle the timing while you handle the preparation. Let God handle what you cannot control while you focus on what you can. And when you feel tempted to give up because you cannot see the result, remember that some of the most important work in life happens before the result becomes visible. The roots grow before the tree becomes strong. The foundation is built before the building rises. The preparation happens before the opportunity arrives. And your growth can happen before your breakthrough becomes visible. Maybe this season is not about getting everything you want immediately. Maybe this season is about becoming ready for everything you are capable of becoming. Maybe the blessing is not just coming toward you. Maybe you are being prepared to meet it. So do not rush the process. Do not despise the quiet season. Do not underestimate the small steps. Do not compare your timeline. Do not return to what you already outgrew simply because the future feels uncertain. You have come too far to keep living like the person you used to be. There is more ahead of you, and you owe it to yourself to find out what that more looks like. One day, you may look back at this exact season. You may remember how uncertain you felt. You may remember how many times you wondered whether things would ever change. And you may realize that while you were asking, "When will my blessing come?" you were already becoming the person who could carry it. You were building strength. You were developing wisdom. You were learning patience. You were becoming more disciplined. You were letting go. You were growing. You were preparing. And maybe that was the work that needed to happen first. So today, stop telling yourself that nothing is happening. Something is happening. You are happening. You are changing. You are growing. You are becoming. And your story is still unfolding. You do not need to have every answer today. You do not need to know exactly how everything will work out. You only need enough courage to take the next step. So take it. Take the step even if you are nervous. Take the step even if you cannot see the entire road. Take the step even if nobody is applauding. Take the step because your future deserves the chance to exist. And trust that what is meant for you does not require you to destroy yourself to obtain it. You do not have to chase endlessly. You do not have to beg constantly. You do not have to compromise your peace for temporary approval. You do not have to become someone you are not. Prepare, work, pray, and let the rest unfold. Because there are things happening behind the scenes that you may never fully understand while they are happening. There are connections being formed. There are lessons being learned. There are doors being redirected. There are opportunities being prepared. There are parts of you being strengthened. And one day, what is invisible today may become obvious. So keep your heart open. Keep your mind focused. Keep your faith alive. And keep moving. Your current chapter may be difficult, but it is not permanent. Your current struggle may be real, but it is not your entire identity. Your current waiting season may feel long, but it does not mean you have been forgotten. You are not required to know the whole plan. You are only required to keep taking the next step. And when you finally reach the place you have been praying for, I hope you remember the person you were during the waiting. The person who kept going. The person who refused to quit. The person who learned to trust. The person who kept working when there was no immediate reward. The person who chose growth instead of bitterness. The person who decided that one difficult season would not determine an entire lifetime. That person deserves your respect, because that person kept you moving. So do not be ashamed of how long it took. Do not be ashamed of how many times you had to start again. Do not be ashamed that you needed time. Some things take time. Some people take time to heal. Some dreams take time to build. Some lessons take time to understand. And some blessings require a version of you that could only be created through experience. Let the process do its work. Let the waiting teach you. Let the difficult days strengthen you. Let the closed doors redirect you. Let the uncertainty deepen your faith. And when the next chapter opens, walk into it with gratitude rather than fear. You have been preparing for it. You have been growing toward it. You have been becoming ready for it. And perhaps the greatest thing you can believe today is not simply that a blessing is coming. It is that you are becoming ready for whatever God has prepared for your life. So breathe, lift your head. Stop staring at what went wrong. Stop measuring your future by what happened yesterday. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Stop assuming that silence means nothing is happening. There is still possibility. There is still purpose. There is still growth. There is still a future. And there is still so much ahead of you. The story is not over. The chapter is not finished. The door you are looking for may not be the door you expected. The blessing you are waiting for may not look exactly how you imagined. But do not close yourself off from the possibility that something beautiful can still happen. Keep your faith. Keep your discipline. Keep your heart open. Keep doing the work and trust the timing. Because sometimes, when you think nothing is happening, everything is being prepared. Sometimes, when you think you are being held back, you are being built up. Sometimes, when you think you are losing, you are being redirected. And sometimes, when you think your story has reached its hardest chapter, you are standing closer to a new beginning than you realize. So do not give up here. Not now. Not because the answer has not appeared yet. Not because the door has not opened yet. Not because the result has not arrived yet. Keep going. Your future is still worth fighting for. Your growth is still worth the effort. Your faith is still worth protecting. And your story is still worth believing in. One day, you may look back and realize that the season you were desperate to escape was the season that prepared you to receive what you had been praying for all along. You will understand why you had to wait, why you had to grow, why you had to let go, why certain doors closed, why certain people left, why certain plans changed. And perhaps you will finally say, I thought God was silent, but God was working. I thought I was being delayed, but I was being prepared. I thought I was losing everything, but I was being redirected. I thought my story was ending, but a new chapter was beginning. So walk forward with faith, walk forward with patience, walk forward with courage. You may not see everything yet, but you do not need to. Keep becoming, keep believing, keep moving, and trust that your life can still change in ways you cannot imagine today. The blessing may be closer than you think. The breakthrough may be closer than you think. The new chapter may be closer than you think. But whether it comes tomorrow, next month, or further down the road, do not waste today waiting for tomorrow. Live today, grow today, prepare today, believe today. Because the person you become today is the person who will step into your tomorrow. And when that moment comes, you will not need to be afraid. You will know that every quiet season had a purpose. Every lesson had a purpose. Every setback taught you something. Every closed door redirected you. Every moment of doubt gave you an opportunity to choose faith again. And every step forward brought you closer to the person you were always capable of becoming. So keep going, keep trusting, keep growing, keep preparing, and never forget, just because you cannot see what is happening behind the scenes does not mean nothing is happening. Your story is still unfolding. Your future is still being built. And the chapter you are waiting for may be closer than you think. Do not give up before you see what all your patience was preparing you for. Do not walk away from your future because your present feels uncertain. Do not let temporary pain convince you that permanent hope is impossible. Lift your eyes, take the next step, trust the process, trust God, and keep moving forward. Because this is not the end of your story. This is not the final chapter. This is preparation. This is growth. This is becoming. And when the right moment comes, you may finally understand why you had to walk through everything you thought you could not survive. You were not forgotten. You were not finished. You were being prepared. And your story still has more to say. So go into tomorrow with faith. Go into tomorrow with courage. Go into tomorrow believing that your life can change. Not because you know exactly what will happen, but because you refuse to stop believing that something better can exist. Keep your heart steady. Keep your mind focused. Keep your faith alive. And remember that sometimes the greatest things in life are being prepared quietly, long before they become visible. Your blessing does not need your panic. Your future does not need your fear. Your next chapter needs your preparation. So prepare, believe, move forward, and trust the one who can see the whole story even when you can only see one page. Your season will change. Your perspective will change. Your strength will change. And one day, you may realize that the waiting was never empty. It was full of preparation. It was full of growth. It was full of becoming. And perhaps behind every moment you thought was a delay, there was something being prepared that you could not yet see. So keep going. The story is not over. The journey is not finished. And there is still more ahead. Have faith in the process. Have courage for the next step. And believe that your best chapters do not have to be behind you. They can still be ahead. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep becoming. Your blessing is not the only thing being prepared. You are being prepared for it too. And that may be the most beautiful part of the entire story.